All right, guys. This is Ken with Real Talk 1111. Today's episode, man, I'm super excited about. I got Mr. Paul P, and he's one of the hardest working guys I know in recovery. Um, First of all, I want to start off by thanking Cedar Ridge Detox. Um, great people. They got a detox and it's in an old mansion. They make it comfortable for you. They make it comfortable. I also want to thank the YMCA. They give discounted memberships or free memberships to all the treatment facilities around here, Portsmouth. I think everywhere in Ohio at least. So, also Victory Center Food Pantry, one of the best food pantries around. Hundreds of people every Saturday. Um, and then back to today's episode, man. This guy, I asked him to come speak at one of our events, and he said no problem. He drove a couple hours that day, and he drove a couple hours today to be here. Like I said, hardworking guy. He's a coach. He's a mentor. He's a sponsor. He's a counselor, a motivational speaker, a friend, husband. Um, and I could go on and on and on, but uh, let me give you Paul P.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Paul Patrick, Paul P. Very stoked to be here, man. I'm just stoked to be here. This is awesome. This is just a really cool opportunity for me. I love doing stuff like this, especially like back on my home turf a little bit.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
meit's crazy because like I wanted out so bad then, but now I'm like wanting back in.
yeah.
It's just a great opportunity to come back and share the message and a little hope, and it's just a great time for me. So I'm happy to be here.
So you're from Logan, not too far from here. And how much clean time you got, Paul?
3 years. I'm coming up on 4 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's a
Yeah.
good amount of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You can get a bachelor's degree in
Yeah, I know that's right. That's right.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely.
um, so you were in Logan,
Yeah.
where you grew up at. Is that where you did a lot of your dirt?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Born and raised in Logan, Ohio. Fell into drugs around 12 years old. Typical story. Had a great family, things like that. Just started partying at a young age, and one thing's led to another, and I ended up on heroin at 17, 18 years old. And Logan was a great place to grow up. I can't, yeah, but I made it bad. You know what I mean? Of course, like we do, and looking for the bad things, you're gonna find them.
Yeah, I mean Logan's a smaller a,
Hmm.
a smaller town. How
Absolutely.
how many, maybe 100,000 or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Not
Couple.
very many.
Yeah.
Um, and it is. I talk about the algorithm of life. Um, it's going to show you what you're searching for.
That's it. That's what I say. That's why I tell people, changing the people, places, things are great, but you can find bad or good anywhere you go.
Yeah.
So you definitely can. And I definitely found the bad in Logan. You know what I mean? All the people that were there that were trying and willing to help me. You know what I mean? Because there was some really good people there. Like I didn't want the help at that time. You know what I mean? And it took me going to prison and getting out and coming out of my comfort zone and moving away to get the help I needed and to realize I needed help. You know what I mean? It had to surrender some things, and it's
Hmm.
crazy because like I moved 2.5 hours away from my family, but then I gained so much by doing that because we had the best rapport at all right now. You know what I mean? With me living 2 hours away, because I come up, I visit, but I don't stick around up here too long, man. I just don't,
Gotcha.
you know.
Gotcha. Sometimes, well, I mean that family environment and stuff like that it takes you back, man. A lot of it's a trigger
Yeah, absolutely.
to a lot of stuff. So, you got in trouble.
Yes, sir. Was in trouble my entire life, back and forth, juvenile probation, adult probation. Um, but I ended up in prison, my first prison sentence in 2017, followed by another one right directly after that. And I served about 4 years and then got out, man. And something's clicked in prison. I just decided to change some things. I just didn't want no more. I had an awakening, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And got out there, had to go through the Star Community Justice Center,
Okay.
went through that program and then went to treatment down there because because back then 5 6 years ago I did there I went to prison. I never went to treatment, you know what I mean. And
Okay.
so I did, and then I found out what treatment was and went through that program, and it really opened my eyes, man. We have a choice, you know what I mean. I never thought I had one.
Prison doesn't really rehab
No,
people.
no, no. Prison did a lot of things for me.
Mhm.
Um, it got me off the streets long enough for the fog to lift. and for for me to start to believe in myself because I was very unhealthy adult at that time. Not just the drugs, but everything about me was unhealthy. All my eating habits, everything was just. I was a smoker, so it got me away from all that stuff long enough for me to start making decisions that if I didn't want to do it again, and it gave me an opportunity to work on my mind and my body. You know what I mean? And it really did open that up.
I get it. It's got to be a balance.
Absolutely.
Mental, physical, and spiritual health. Um, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and he talked about mental fitness.
Yeah,
He didn't talk about mental health. He said mental
I
fitness.
like that.
And it's a work in progress, just like your body. When you're going to the gym, you can have a bad day.
Absolutely.
Same thing mentally. Give yourself permission.
Absolutely. I like that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
4 years, man. That's a long time. That's
Yeah.
long enough to change your mind.
Yeah, it did.
And then you go to Star. I've heard of Star, and Star's big on behavioral health, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, tell me about how they.
Behavioral health. It's about being aware of your surroundings and the decisions that you're making. Let's say that. So it's literally a lockdown facility. It's basically ran like a level 3 prison, but you're in
Mhm.
your own clothes and you program a lot.
Okay.
And they hold you accountable for just the little things. I mean, leaving your cup on the desk, or when you walk through a door not counting. It's to make you realize that you're in a certain spot,
Yeah.
and there's risky situations around, and playing the tape and reacting, because a lot of us at that time in our lives, especially in recovery or early recovery or before that, we act on impulse a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We put ourselves in bad situations and then react badly to the situation. It's a risky situation.
I'm glad that you said we put ourselves there.
Absolutely.
That's because my son went through Star,
Mhm.
and they make it very clear you put yourself here,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
but you can also get yourself out.
Absolutely. And you got to work for it to get yourself out of there. They don't just give it to you. I went through 4 years of prison,
Hmm.
and was when I got to Star, I was like, oh my God, send me back to prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was that kind of awakening. Like it was that
Okay.
kind of programming. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but I'm very blessed. When I went through there, I got my high school diploma through there. I never had it. I
Ah.
got to be a certified welder when I went through there. So these things, and I picked up a lot of good tricks that I learned that I still use today from that program.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's cool, man.
Coping skills, coping tools, but it also sounds like you got some tools and some things that you could use when you left there
Absolutely.
to make you not want to go back.
Absolutely. Definitely got some tools to do that. And it got me because everyone comes out of prison, they come right back to that same atmosphere and then they try to make it. And I would always, get locked up or something like that and come right back to my mom, right back to a job, right. Star gave me that gateway, almost like a halfway house from prison. Slowed
Hmm.
me down before I hit the streets, and then I went and said, "Okay, now let's just do treatment while I'm here." So it really like stepped me down, to actually getting out completely on my own. Didn't make it overwhelming. Just hey, here's your bag, get out of prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really helped me a lot.
And it gave you some tools to become a contributing member of society.
Absolutely.
That's one major reason for Real Talk. Um, to show society that we're people,
Absolutely.
and we want better. We
Yeah.
want better for ourselves. Um, just sometimes we don't think it's possible. Sometimes we think people are going to look down on us,
Yeah.
and a lot of times we don't have the tools
Yeah.
necessary to come back in, or even the knowledge that we could. I talk to so many people, and McDonald's is like success to
Yeah.
them,
Absolutely.
and don't realize their power. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to help people realize their power, and I know you are too.
Absolutely. You have to like believe it to be able to achieve it. You know what I mean? You have
Yeah.
to like kind of believe it in your own mind. And I did this exercise when I was in prison, man. I read this book and it said like you draw a picture of yourself in active addiction, and I drew this self that, I was really overweight and I was very depressed. I had my
Okay.
head down. And then it's like draw a picture now and like, I'm in prison, but I'm standing a little taller. Then it said, draw a picture of your future, man. And like I always wanted
Ah,
to be some type of counselor, so I had like this cape on and I'm serving people and I'm more fit and all this, man. And I kind of manifested that. It was like, and I gave me something to believe in. And then when you get out and you get in treatment and you meet like in the rooms and you see these people that are doing some of the things that you never thought you could do, but they're doing it.
yep.
It's like, oh man, I do have a shot at this. I can do this.
It's powerful.
I love it.
It's powerful. Somebody who's got a few more days put together,
Absolutely.
put in a little bit of work,
Mhm.
And then once you get a few days put together, to see somebody else have that light bulb go
Absolutely.
on.
That's where it's at.
It's a new kind of buzz. It's a new kind of high.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
It definitely is, man. When they start to believe it, and they get in
yeah,
that, it's something, you know. It's really,
yeah,
well, they say don't quit before the miracle, and that's like you see that, you know, a lot. And but you see some people do it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's awesome, man. There's a couple people that I work with right now that in both my jobs that like are he's right there. You know, it's a beautiful thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna take I'm gonna take some notes out of Chris Williamson's playbook.
Okay.
He gets on here and he reads back to people some of the stuff that they
Yeah. Okay.
say. Um, and let me see. Working out saved my life in so many ways. My quality of life improved. My self-esteem improved. Even my relationship with God improved.
Absolutely.
That's Paul P
A
said
hundred percent. A hundred percent.
that.
A
So,
100%.
yeah. So it takes um it takes being balanced mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Yeah.
Um and I see a lot of stuff. I see you in the gym
Mhm.
and you in the gym with your guys
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
and they're smiling
Yeah.
and you're getting it. You're
Absolutely.
doing pull ups, you're
Yeah.
doing this and you're doing that. Why?
Man, I think that fitness has a direct, like you just said, you know, it's mental and spiritual and physical. And I truly believe, like, you know, I obviously work at Southern Hope Recovery Center, and, you know, I get a chance at work to take some of these guys to the gym, to the Y, you know, at the Y and down
Yeah.
there in
Yeah.
Akron. You know what I mean? They let Ohio, we're in Ohio where I work, but they let us come to the Ashland Y and
Okay.
do a
Okay.
class. So,
Okay.
you know, it's really cool what they do.
Is that Kentucky?
That's Kentucky.
Oh, it's Kentucky? No, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
just saying.
Kentucky, nice. But man, I like you know these guys, man. Like you know they're starting their journey. You know, so obviously they're not in the greatest shape, a lot of them, or you know they're overweight from being in recovery or treatment or whatever. And you know because this unhealthy lifestyles. And I remember being that guy. But man, taking them
Mm,
to the gym and just working with them a little bit, and seeing them start to open up, and then showing them pictures of like me when I was 360 pounds, and like
okay.
showing like, look, dude, this is possible. That this is you can do this. Like
Yeah.
I get like that high that you're talking about all the time. You know what I mean? It's always like a funny thing at work because like I'm always taking them to the gym and they're like, man, I'm telling you, it's a direct like you know a lot of them love it. They love to get down there once they start moving and doing things. And eventually, man, that's kind of what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to do like a peer support, you know, where I can come in and take these guys to the gym and do certain things with them, not just sitting there and do a one on one. Let's do a group set because man, I'm telling you, like you really can grow in some of them group settings. There's like a you know how you say it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Camaraderie.
yeah, yeah. There,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
you know what I mean. Between when you got three or four guys doing the same thing in the gym, man, and you know that really sticks and focus, and they feel that energy, and they can get it done.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's why they have church.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely,
You know, and that is church. I
yeah,
mean, that is one
absolutely,
of the highest forms of
yeah,
church and
yeah,
uh, fellowship,
yeah,
camaraderie, whatever you want to call it, pack mentality.
yeah,
And when we all have a common enemy,
yeah,
and we're all working for the same goal.
absolutely, absolutely, 100%, man. I love it,
Yeah, and you were 300 pounds,
dude.
man.
I was like 340 at one point in time.
So you got like okay, so I'm trying to bridge the gap between guys that are still using,
Yeah,
going through treatment in the mud to the David Goggins type, and
yeah,
you're like a real life
yeah,
David
dude.
Goggins type.
I went to prison and acted like David Goggins for a few years to get that, you know what I mean? And
Okay.
I come out with a different mindset, and I just wasn't willing to go back there to where I used to be. And my wife was the same way. Like I'll have
Yeah,
to show you a picture, like you wouldn't believe our before. If you haven't seen him, like
I haven't.
I met her, and like I was really active in the gym, and she was like, okay, so she kind of got it off me a little bit. She had some other friends in the gym, stuff like that, but it motivated her a little. And then so she started doing, and dude, she went into it full force. She completely changed her
Man,
physical appearance. I mean, it's if you've seen the picture of it, it's night and
yeah,
day. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Completely night and day. And it was just a big part of her recovery, and it still is. She's very active in the gym and things like that. And you know, she's obviously, yeah, man,
That's amazing.
super cool.
That's amazing. So you talk about your wife. We'll say Mrs. P.
Yeah,
You got married this year.
yeah, June, man, June.
Okay, tell me about tell.
Man, it was. it was really crazy because like
Did you ever think that you'd get married? You know, did
you
you
know
ever
what
think that you'd
I
have a
thought
life?
it, but apparently no one else did. Because like everybody that I know, I have a really good friend named Lacey, and she's like, I can't believe you actually did it. Like, what do you mean? Like, she's just like, and they were just so used because I was always such a loner and
Yeah,
things like that that she couldn't believe it. But man, when you meet that one dude, you know what I mean? And I met her in a meeting, and it's not supposed to work, but it did.
yeah.
And she had some time clean, and the funny part is like she always tells a story like, well, yeah, the first time I seen him in a meeting, like she didn't think I would beat him back. I
Okay,
was like
okay.
surprised, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it worked out pretty good.
Was she 13 step? Did you have some clean time too,
Yeah,
or?
we both had some clean time wrapped up a little bit. I think I had about a year. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just a little bit. And she's a year above me, so she had two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but here's the thing, I made a commitment to because when I first met her, I was still in treatment. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And I made a commitment to wait for a year after I got out, without dating or anything like that. It's a
Yep.
good rule to follow.
Yep. Yep.
And so we were just really good friends for a long time, and we didn't take it any farther than that until like I felt comfortable, man. I really took my time with that because I always seen guys do that and they make that woman their higher power and things like that, and then it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
we really took our time, man. We really did. We knew each other for about 3 years, but we didn't start dating it for a year after we met.
It's really awkward trying to date and trying to,
Yeah,
get to know somebody,
it is.
and especially when you meet them in the rooms, you're like, ah, man, and I've got trust issues
Yeah,
anyways,
absolutely.
But I heard if you do what you love, then you'll find what you love.
Bro. I always I tell a lot of people this. I said I really waited until I was the person I wanted to be. That way I could offer a good woman something.
Ah,
Just like, like when I was in treatment and stuff, like not saying that you don't have anything, but like, what do I really have to offer a good woman?
yeah,
I didn't have anything. I had a few months strung together and I was trying to figure out I could get clean, but I was trying to figure out how to stay clean.
yeah,
You know what I mean? There's a big difference in that. Like it's easy to get clean, you got to do that once, but to stay clean, it's an everyday grind.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was trying to figure that out and
And you got hopes and dreams,
mhm.
but you almost have to prove it to yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You almost have to prove it to yourself
Yeah,
to
man.
in order
Because
to
at
keep it.
first, it's no lie. You feel like you're faking it
Yeah,
because it's like you're so unused to, still, it's
yeah,
like I have to snap myself back. Like, is this really my life?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's like you've done it, spent your half your life doing it the other way.
Or more than half.
Yeah,
And it's like
absolutely.
imposter syndrome. And man, I still, I struggled with putting this podcast out there, and I still
Yeah.
struggle. I work, in the education system, and man, it's hard. I still every once in a while wonder if people are thinking or
Mhm.
talking or this or that, but I just
You
keep
don't live
plugging
in it.
in. Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
yeah,
let
yeah,
that control your life,
yeah,
and that's what I think that's one big deal breaker for us that will separate people, like either in recovery or real life, when they're like, I don't care what my mind is saying, I'm going to go ahead and take that step. And once you get that, man, it's like a cheat code to life.
Ooh,
It really
yeah,
is. It's
yeah,
like, okay, I'm going to walk out in a little faith, man. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And
yeah,
when I started doing that, 'cause I was scared to get married. I was scared to stay clean. I was scared to walk in the star and speak in front of 300 men.
yeah.
I do it. You know what I
Did
mean?
it
And
anyway.
it works out. You know what I mean? It's like,
Mm.
it's just I don't let fear control me, and obviously you don't either, man.
No, I don't. I
You know,
don't.
it's great.
What you got have another quote in here. Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
That's it. And that's the truth. You know what I mean?
It is.
This is just the truth, man. I think a lot of, and you know what? A lot of successful my friends, man. I got some successful friends now that have a couple more in prison with me, and now they're
Hmm.
just, you know what I mean. And a couple, and like I think we all kind of are living by that right now. Like we're just going for it, man.
Yeah. And you're gonna fail. And it's like, I do a lot of roller skating, so I do a lot of falling down.
Yeah, I seen that. That was cool though. I seen the video.
And so it's learning how not to fall down is how you be a good roller skater. Learning how to fail.
Absolutely. And you know what? I was scared to fail for so long that it kept me failing, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
It
Because
makes sense to
it
me.
makes sense because you've
Yeah.
been there. And I truly like, I was always scared. And I think it started off with like in my childhood because if I did something wrong, it was, you know what I mean? But I've learned, man. And a couple, like my father-in-law has helped me with that. And a couple people like that. Like, it's okay. Just try it. If you fail, we'll redo it. Unless, you know what I mean? And that was another game changer for me. When I
Yeah.
realized, like, dude, I can make mistakes, just keep moving forward.
Yep. Yep. And with this whole rock bottom
Mhm.
thing, identifying as an addict, um, realizing that I've already made some of the biggest mistakes in my life that I could
Yeah,
make, and I'm still here.
I love that.
I made it through this far, so
Yeah.
I might as well just go on and be
I
successful
think the
now.
mistakes you're making now are way smaller than the mistakes.
Yep,
That's the line right there,
yep.
right? So, yeah, I love that.
I asked one of my guests, one of my previous guests, if if you could just shake somebody, man, if you could just tell them, somebody that's out there struggling, uh, right now, that's like, I've had a lot of comments and they're like, oh man, you guys almost make me want to check in to rehab, And it's like, what would you, what would you tell them? What would you shake them and tell
Man, I don't know if I could just tell them one thing.
them? It's
You
hard.
know, you know when you get into this and they tell, and I didn't understand it for the longest time, but they'd always say like the one thing you can give them for free. You know what I mean? But they have to accept it. Like you have to accept it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I would just tell 'em, man, accept and take a suggestion. Like that would probably be because that's like the game changer when you start taking a suggestion from another person. You know what I mean? It's like, that was my kind of another game changer for me when
That's facts.
I didn't have to stick my manhood out there. I had to bring myself down and say, okay, maybe I don't know exactly how to stay clean. I'm going to take some suggestions from some guys that do and actually take them and use them.
Right.
Not just say you're going to take them and put them in the old mind bank, but actually use these suggestions, man. And, like get a home group, get a sponsor, get these things that are
Yeah.
proven to work, and
Yeah.
it changed my life when I like, okay, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
And it's really nothing huge. Well, I mean, I guess it's huge, but it's just changing small habits every
It
day.
is. It is.
Just a couple.
You don't realize that. It really is the little things that
Yeah,
are like, 100%.
just a lot of little
A lot of
things.
little things.
It's changing a lot of little things, one at a time.
Yeah, it's
One
true.
at a
It
time.
definitely is, man.
You went from Logan to South Point,
South Point.
2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
Um, and so what's in South Point?
Man, so uh a treatment center that I went to after Star was in Chesapeake, which is just pretty much you can join the South Point. So that's how I ended up.
I did have a question for you. I
Yeah.
wanted to back up. So you were in treatment. You said you were still in treatment when you
Mhm,
met your wife.
mhm.
That was like a year.
Yeah.
Um, Treatment takes a while if you do it right.
Yeah, yeah. I went through it in like 6 months.
I was in it. I went to a treatment center
Mhm.
for 6 months, and then I went to sober living
Yeah.
for a whole nother year.
Well, see, when I say treatment, I was pretty much sober. So what happened was I came from Star. So they counted that as pretty much, you know what I mean? And I came from prison to Star to,
Yeah.
so they counted that as pretty much inpatient. So I went straight to sober living when I got through there, and I was there 4 months, 5 months, and I got my apartment, my car, and had some clean time wrapped up, and uh, scared to death. I didn't want
Yeah.
to leave, but they were like, "Bro, we think you got it together." But you know how it is. I was really
Yeah.
scared. They said if you weren't scared, we'd have a problem. But man, I learned so much there, and then I didn't play around. I didn't when I was there. I took it serious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Me and my best friend went through it together. He was actually from the same prison. Went through Star right with me.
Yeah. Okay.
We ended up being really good friends, and man, we just did it and went through it. And
Yeah.
I think we made the decision way back then. Before all that, to
That you
do
were
it.
going it.
We're just
Yeah.
sometimes you just something changes, man.
Yeah, you
Something
hit
just
that
changed.
point
Something
to
changed.
change your mind.
Yeah,
I decided that I was going to recover like I got high.
that's it.
That's
That's it.
just, I was just going to recover like I got high, and nobody was going to tell me any
It.
different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can recover just like that hard. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
so like it takes that sometimes, but like recovery can be a lifestyle, a great lifestyle, or employment options or anything like that, man. But like man, when you really decide like I want something different, it starts with like changing your behavior and your character and like these things. Like you can sit there and say you're gonna change as much as you want. People get tired of hearing it, but then small attitude adjustments and things like that. That's what I look for. Like when your attitude starts to shift and something, I'm like, okay, you're really trying to do something here,
Yeah.
man. Because
Yeah.
like because what they say you can be like a dry drunk, you can be clean, but you can be miserable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Miserable, still thinking about it
absolutely,
every day, or trying to having reservations about every little thing.
absolutely.
Um, it takes a lot
It's a
to.
practice, right?
Oh, it is.
It's a practice. It's not
Yeah.
something. Yeah, man.
It's definitely a practice.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It was a game changer when I realized like this is for the long haul. This is so these are things that you work on, and then if something happens, like you readjust, you refocus, and you go at it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, you used to make life changing decisions back in the day with no fear.
Right.
Now we're scared to make these little ones
Right.
that are not, you know. So it's cool, man. Though once you get the hang of it, man, you start to realize they can't eat you, and
Yeah.
like you move forward, dude.
Man, that's something my grandpa used to say.
Yeah,
They can't eat you.
bro, I tell
You
myself
know?
that every time I get in front of a large crowd. When Logan, when Hockey County asked me to come back there and speak, and they put
Yeah.
me in the paper and all that, dude, I had to tell myself they can't eat, they can't, because like I'm in a paper, they're expecting all this, and now I'm
That's
like,
powerful.
and the judge that used to send me to jail and prison standing right beside me, dude,
Yeah.
it was just like, it was like,
Well.
it was cool, it was cool, but it was like I had to get, my mentor was there, like, so it was super cool, but like it really, I had to tell myself like they can't eat me. You know what I mean?
That's it. That's it. All right, and they're paying us. They're paying us
Mhm.
for our previous experience. They're paying us for all the dirt that we figured out how to get out of, and that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Um, then you're 3 years clean,
Mhm.
and you found yourself back in court. They call this wreckage of the past. What happened?
Wreckage on my past. I
Yeah,
went through prison, served that time, got out with no worries, went to Star, another lockdown facility, got out, no problem,
you're thinking everything's
never had an
good.
issue, and then went to file through my job for my CDCA and had to do a background report. It come up that I had a misdemeanor warrant. I called down there to get this misdemeanor warrant fixed. They're like, no, actually, it's a felony. So, yeah. So I ended up with a felony.
Surprise!
I've been to Pennsylvania one time and got a. I was like, I've only been there one time. So I ended up with this felony F3, and it wasn't as big a deal as I, but you know how our minds go, like, oh my God, here
Yep.
we go again. Like I'm gonna have to go to prison. I'm about to do this and that and that and this, and
All this work
all
for
this work.
wasted. Yeah.
But I've seen, like you do in the rooms, other addicts, these things happen. And, sometimes, but I had a friend, a good friend, man, that had to go back to prison after being clean for 2 years, So, so he helped me, like, as in, like, man, you just got to take care of this and whatever happens, happens. And believe
Right.
that, trust the process. And I did. And I went up there, man, and it was totally, completely different than I thought it was going to be. I was scared, and I went up there, and they seen all the work that I put in, and just pretty much dismissed it all for a $25 fine.
Woo.
It cost me some lawyer fees and stuff like
Right.
that. You know what I mean? But it still could have been 100% worse. If I would have walked in there the same old person I was, 3 or 4 years before that, I
Yeah.
would've been in prison. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But they recognized it, man, and that was a good feeling.
Yeah.
That was a good feeling. Like, wow, people are seeing this, and it definitely, and so it's super cool, man.
It was worth it.
It
It
was.
was.
But
It
like, don't
it
give up.
wasn't a waste of time.
That's it. Don't give up before the miracle, bro. Because
Yeah.
I literally thought like I might, you know what I mean? Like that's a pivoting point where a lot of people say, "Well, nope, I ain't even going."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it didn't even run.
Or I might as well just start using it
That's
again.
it.
Hell with it.
Absolutely. And like it didn't. They wouldn't come get me on it. Ohio wouldn't transport me on it. So it didn't affect me any other way except for doing what I wanted to do for a living.
Moving
I
forward.
wanted to move forward and have my peer support, my CCA stuff, and everything I want to do. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
going into facilities and talking to people like Star and all these things. I didn't have an active warrant doing these things, you know? You know what I mean? And I did. I didn't even know, but which is funny
Yeah.
now. But it's like, man, and but like it's super cool, dude, that it worked out the way it did, and I didn't give up, and God
Yeah.
just blessed me, and it worked out really well.
And you're like, oh, I have to take care of this now. I'm teaching people to handle it. I
Absolutely,
have to
yeah,
take
like
care
you
of
know
this
what I mean.
now.
Like, where's Paul? Oh, he ran, not towards Pennsylvania. You know what I mean?
He
But
ran again.
it was cool, man. I had very good support from my family, my wife, and her family, and we just moved forward. And I went up there, and I was nervous, of course, but I was willing, and we got it took care of, man. It was super cool. It
Oh
worked
man,
out.
and a relief. And
Relief,
yeah.
relief, absolutely.
And so now you're state board certified
I
and
literally just sent in all my stuff to like
yeah.
do it all, and you know what I mean. So it's super cool, and like Southern Hope has just worked with me through this whole thing, man. And they gave me a shot right out of treatment, and they've worked through with me on this and kept me even though I couldn't do that stuff, and I was going through that court stuff, and like, man, what a shout out to them. You know what I mean?
So this is Southern Hope Recovery
100%.
in Portsmouth?
No, it's in
No?
Chesapeake, Ohio.
In Chesapeake.
Yeah,
Um,
very
go there. You go there.
cool.
If you so
Yeah.
they'll give you a shot. They make it comfortable. I take it. What's a first day like or a first week like?
Uh,
Um, at
as a client
yeah,
that
as a
comes in.
client.
You'll be at one of the houses that I work at, the Riley House. You would come in. We don't specifically offer you detox, but there's a detox right down the road, and we definitely, if you're going through that kind of thing, we would definitely, send you that way and get you took care of before that. But because you move into like 2.5 status,
Hmm.
and then PHP to then the
Okay.
IOP, and it goes to sober living, and then we even have like a halfway at the end of that for like transitional living. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the first week, man, is really just getting you settled in. Man, the houses are really nice, man. You can't ask for a better owner or some of the employees that work there. Really good place, more lax than most. Not like to cause trouble lax, but just more of a home feel, man. Like
Yeah.
it truly is. And I have I don't get money for plugging them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And on the things I do, but I always just bring it up because like they gave me my shot with my record, coming in there and I see the things they do on a daily basis and I see the things the owners do that no one knows about. I do
Mm.
these things.
Some behind the
They
scenes
and
stuff. Yeah.
bro, that people would blow their mind if they realized what you did. And they do some great things, man. They really do. There's some really good people there. It really is.
People are scared of I don't know if they're so much scared or maybe it's just not knowing, maybe it's just the unfamiliarity of it or whatever, but almost every sober living house I've been in has been gone through and remodeled and painted and new
Yeah,
floors.
yeah,
Some of them are some of the nicest places I've lived in. Period.
yeah,
Um and then also, yeah, you're with a couple guys, but when you're out there on the street, you're with some assholes anyways.
yeah.
And these guys call it trauma bonding or whatever,
Mhm.
but they become family,
Absolutely,
man.
absolutely.
And there's a couple guys that I know that they would go to war for me, and I'd do the same for them. And it just becomes such a family environment. And then I like how you said it's scary to leave
Yeah,
after you're
yeah.
there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I went through some of that stuff with a really good friend of mine, and we didn't know each other in prison, but we ended up at Star together. I met him walking out of Star, going to treatment. You know what I mean? We were
Mm,
both scared of that. We didn't know what to do. We went to Walmart the first time. He did 5 years, I did 4. We were
yeah.
scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he left a little bit before me, and then I left. But you know what? We still talk. We are very good friends. We talk regularly, and we still hit the gym together. And we're still. And he's a big deal at 1500 Food Bank, and Huntington, man, and
Okay.
ginseng, and like people were out there making it, dude. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I love it.
Man, helping other people. Is keeps me clean.
Absolutely.
It keeps me clean and it keeps me going. What are what's this breaking through that I hear about?
Man, this is just like a brainchild from me and my wife. We started like a page on Facebook, like breaking through for kind of just more like more people that we know, just where they're breaking through individual things like like weight loss or addiction or recovery times, all that stuff too. But like
Okay.
people are getting their peer supports, never thought it would, and posting on it, and people are changing their eating habits, they're quitting cigarettes. It's just more than just a clean time, process. And
Okay.
we got this thing that like we're going to start pitching to different recovery centers about bringing some more like not just addiction wellness but like all around wellness there. 'Cause
Holistic
yeah,
wellness.
I like that. Just doing different things, man. Just showing people how to read labels on food and compare to that, or
Yeah.
just starting to believe in themselves to realize that they can do these things. They can change not just one thing. Like you can change a lot of things about your life and live a healthy life, man. You're never too far gone, and that's just the truth. Because I always thought like, man, maybe I was too far gone. At 30
Yeah.
years old and very overweight, and you know what I mean, and things like that. And it's just man, we talk about it all the time and we live it. And I think it's going to be like, I think we're going to do something for it, man. We're really starting to like, I don't know, man. Like, I go through these things where like I'll get a vision. And my wife has the same vision, and like we'll go for it a little bit. And I've kind of been like coming back to Hocking County, man. Like I seen that before I even got offered it. Like it was like I'm gonna end up back there speaking, and
Yeah.
they offered it like a month later. It's just like these things, and I've been seeing a lot about it. So I think something's gonna come up on that, man. I really do.
I see it. I see it happening for you guys. I was blessed when I first went into treatment. I talked to a nurse and I told her, I said, I don't want any medications. I don't want any mat treatment. I don't want any of this or any of that. And she said, well, Ken, then we're going to have to put you on a diet. We're going to put you on a keto
Okay.
diet. And I was like, yeah, hell with this. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
I was like 110 pounds. I was like, I'm like a diet really lady.
really.
And she said, okay. She said, honey, listen, calm down.
Yeah,
She said, let's not call it a
yeah, yeah,
diet.
yeah, yeah.
Let's call it a lifestyle
There you
change.
go. That's it.
Um, we're gonna put you in ketosis. We're gonna reset the chemicals in your
Love it.
body, and at that point, then you can start eating right. You'll feel some wins. It resets your dopamine and your melatonin, and your serotonin, and all that stuff.
Man.
Um, and um, then you can start eating. Then you can start adding stuff back to your diet. And you can start living right. And that was such a blessing. But just the lifestyle change that
Yeah,
she called it. And so you guys are talking about all the same stuff, and it's
yeah,
the Romans used to say, "Let food be thy medicine,
yeah,
and thy medicine be thy
yeah.
food."
And I 100%, bro. I'm 40 years old and I eat good now, and have for the last 3 or 4 years and things like that. And I'm telling you, like, I feel better than I've ever felt just from the food I eat, stuff like that. Like, I wake up energized. It completely changed my life. Just eating different.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
And it's easy for I don't have children and things like that. It's just me and my wife, and it's me, and we're on the same page. You know what I mean? We both want it better, and we both eat the same and stuff like that. And it really helped. And it's just, man, it's just shocked me. My mental health is better for it from it. My physical health is better. It just really changed my life, man. It really did.
it's amazing.
Yeah. And
I
don't
mean,
think I don't relapse sometimes on, something. You know what I mean? But it's just the truth about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We still have bad days. You call it a cheat day, I call it a lapse. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like,
okay.
I might have some pizza, that's the one thing
Yeah,
or something like that. But it's like I jump back on track just like with anything else. Just, what I mean? Like, ooh, I'm just living, what I mean? So
yeah,
it's never, what'd you say? It's always progressive, man.
yeah. It's
And
a journey.
it's a journey, 100%. And it was hard to like and with food, because that was like my first addiction, I think. And it was really like a thing, man, to like really it was just like using drugs to me. Like it really was. I tried to fill that hole with food. And,
Mm,
and then when I got clean and I took away the drugs, I still had something there and I could get that high almost off food. So I had to really watch it and be careful, man. And
yeah.
you know what? When I relapse on something stupid like pizza or something like that, when I'm trying to have, certain, goals in mind and I fall short, it was the same shame and guilt that I would get from a
Ooh,
relapse, bro.
yeah, yeah,
I mean? I'm still shameless. Like, you know what I mean? When you eat stuff like that doesn't, no nutritious value and it's bad for you,
yeah.
you still get that. I still get that shame and guilt. So you know what I mean?
The conversation's starting to change when it comes to relapse. It's not only drugs, it's behavior.
Absolutely.
It's behavior and thought
Yeah.
processes and stuff like that. When it comes to, I work a lot with teens and
Mhm.
stuff like that, and they're starting to really talk about relapse and behavior
Yeah.
when it comes to young people, because that's what it is.
You see it way before it happens.
That's what it is. And I like what you're talking about, the holistic view of it all, and the holistic view of recovery, the perception of recovery, because it's not only drugs
Yeah.
that people recover from, it's deaths in the family,
Absolutely.
it's food, it's
Yeah.
um,
Absolutely.
loss of a job.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Everybody goes through some sort of recovery.
Absolutely.
Um, and to have a place where you could talk about nutrition, lifestyle, that's it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming. 100%.
And that's breakthrough.
Breaking through. Yeah.
Breaking through.
Breaking.
Okay, and you can get on Facebook
Yeah,
and
Facebook. We have a page. You can get it off my link on Paul Patrick on Facebook, something like that. But we also just have a breaking through page,
okay,
basically like that. But we're just starting to throw it around. We
yeah.
started to, some things, and I got a lot of friends that were like, "Man, you should definitely do this." And
Well, look, if anybody else has some ideas or
yeah,
some
absolutely,
options, some help or anything for breaking through for this idea, shoot
absolutely.
it in the comments. But that's not all you're doing.
Doing some other stuff, man. Man, I don't know if I mentioned, but like I get to go back inside and take people to Star, to talk.
Okay.
That's cool, man. I went through the program, then I went there and spoke, and it went so well. They're like, man, you should bring some other speakers. So I've been doing that, and I got to bring one of my mentors that helped get me clean there to speak last time. Yeah, and that was cool, dude.
Yeah.
That was cool. He got a standing ovation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His head's a little big from it, but he's my dude. So he'll
Yeah.
probably hear this, but like it was just super cool to be able to like he's helped save my life, and then here I come, like to get him in that door, and man, I know he changed some people's lives in that. Some other things we're doing, man. We're the Ambition. It's more than a construction company. We're giving people in recovery, or some of them are still in treatment, the opportunity to not just learn a trade, a construction trade or something like that.
Hmm.
They also have a home health care spot too. That another couple people from recovery, typically right now Southern Hope. You know, they're
Okay.
not partners with Southern Hope or anything like that, but we
Yeah.
do a lot of work with Southern Hope. You know what
Okay.
I mean? Kind of like use me as the bridge for that. You know what I mean? And man, they started off they've done a lot, dude. Like we do some construction and we got some really good guys, and it's more about them working around, first of all, a clean environment.
Right.
Pretty much everyone that works. I'm not saying everyone that works there is an addict, but they all understand, and
Yeah.
it's completely drug free.
Yeah.
You know, and man, it's just a good
That's different for a construction site.
dude, 100%, hundred
You know?
percent different.
Yeah.
That's like the guys understand it's a blessing because like we you know what I mean. Like two of our employees right now are from Southern Hope and they're in a transitional site, and these guys are just knocking it out. You know what I mean. One in
Yeah.
particular, uh, bro, just had never dreamed he'd even have a driver's license. And he's taking his test this week, and he's
Nice.
got a job and he's doing these things, and it's just really cool, man. It's more like Christian based, and it's like we do a prayer and stuff before work. It's just a good
Hmm.
environment. It's just a good environment to work in, and we're always giving stuff back to the community. That's another big part about it. We do this we do the construction to
Yeah.
be able to do other things in the community to give back. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because let's just keep it real. It takes money to do some of these things that we
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like my boss always tells me because I don't want to do construction anymore. Right? So he's always like,
Right.
"Well, we're not really doing construction because we're helping all these people." And I think, so I'll go do construction. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, man. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a good thing, man, and I really enjoy. And it's actually my wife's father and mother that started this business, and it started off with two guys that were in treatment that had needed a way to live, and they met him at church, and Howard has helped them, and now they grew into this company. And
Wow.
yeah, man, it's super cool, man. Check it out. Worthy Ambition has a page on Facebook and obviously a web page, so you guys can get on there and check it out. So it's super cool, man. Big fan.
All right. Worthy ambition, breaking through. Um, this is one of the reasons I say he's the hardest working guy in recovery. And you're blazing trails, opening doors for other people to speak and talk. Anything else you
Man,
wanted to talk about? I know there's a bunch, probably.
just man, I wanted to tell you just personal that it was great coming down here to speak at your speaker jam, man.
Yeah.
And that was definitely cool because that was a God thing, bro. Because that was like my first thing welcoming me back down here.
Okay.
So you broke the because I was like, and it was like he did it. God did it perfect because I was like, I didn't have to go to Logan first. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
Lancaster. All right,
Yeah.
let's do some stuff in Lancaster. So I got to do that, man, and that like kind of got me over the like, okay now you know what I mean. And then before you know it, dude, like I don't know how it happened, but the paper and Logan got a hold of me and stuff like that. So I think that came all from that.
Nice.
So it was just super cool, man. That's
And
just how it
that was the
works.
guy that you mentored that recommended you to me.
Super cool. That's how it works, man.
Yeah,
And you took
yeah.
a shot on that. You know what I mean? You know how it is getting speakers and stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
it's like, man, I always say like, I don't have the plan, but like more will be revealed, dude. And it's just super cool because man, like that's the stuff that's happening, with your
Yeah.
faith, and it was
Yeah,
super cool.
and you've said a few times and right here right now, don't leave till the miracle happens,
That's it,
but also don't leave because there's another miracle
dude.
and another
Right,
one and another
right.
one and another one.
Not to say that life doesn't get hard sometimes,
Hmm.
but man, it's just lifey. Life. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
It's just lifey. I always say like, we're not. I always thought for such a long time I was special. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was the worst addict, or I couldn't get clean because I did more than you, or all this stuff like that. But the truth is, man, there's a lot of addicts out there that have been through way worse stuff than me that don't use today. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
truth.
That's the
And
truth.
when I realized that, like, I realized, like, man, what? Like, if they can
Yeah,
do it, I can do it. Like, you know what I mean? I always thought, like, I had an extra reason to not, to use.
yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
it's cool, man.
Man, it is, and hopefully we can just keep
Hmm.
building on this platform to give back
Absolutely.
and to help people. Um, guys, thanks goes out to my higher power, to our higher power, who's present and there in all things.
Hmm.
Um, I try to make this about personal development, recovery in all ways, shapes, and forms, health and wellness. Um, anybody who would like to speak or get a hold of Paul or me, leave it in the comments. And we're gonna continue this. I'm gonna have Paul back on, and we're gonna talk about breaking through and some worthy ambition stuff, and we'll do some more speaking and stuff like that. Thank you, brother.
No
Thank
problem.
you for coming down.
Absolutely.
This is Real Talk 1111. See ya.
See ya.